time for the Salt and Sass podcast, when we share our love for the wonderful world of board games with you, whether you're a gaming veteran or just starting your tabletop journey. Welcome to episode 71. I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Mandi.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. So lovely to have you back. And Mandi.
Yes?
I don't know how I think about the folks who are listening to us, like as a collective. I guess our listeners, our friends, I don't know. But after last episode, what I have learned is we have an amazing community.
Of course.
Listening to this podcast, because I asked y'all, hey, I can't find this game. Help me. And boy, did you all show up in droves. And honestly, to the point where it made me feel like maybe I'm ignorant, because all of a sudden, like, oh, it's here. Oh, it's here. It's here. You could find it here. You could find it here. Like, it was everywhere. I also didn't realize, I guess it is fairly new. So I'm hoping that maybe when I was looking for it, like new listings came up after that. I don't know. But thank you so much to everyone who messaged and emailed about like which online stores had stick for stick that I could order and have shipped. And also a number of you are like, I'll pick up a copy and ship it to you and just no problem. I'm like, y'all are amazing. And I'm so grateful for you. And just, you rock. And thank you so much. And you know, it sets a bad precedent, Mandi, because now I'm like, oh, whenever I need to find anything, now I'll just say it on the podcast.
Right?
I'll have like 70 people be like, oh, try this, try this. That's amazing.
So cool. I love that. That's awesome. I'd love to hear it.
It was great. So thank you, everybody, for that. Deeply appreciate you. But yeah, so we're back with episode 71. Gonna do our groove thing, talk about some games, serve up a Mandi game pie. Love it. This will be a fun one. But of course, we are omni gamers. And Mandi, there's so much going on in the video game world. So we better get that out of our system so we can talk about board games.
Oh, I know. And I'll try to, why am I lying? I'm like, I'll make it short. Sorry, I got a few. I have to share because I've been a busy bee. I finally finished Avowed. It was so good.
You really liked that one, didn't you?
I'm a person where like 15 hours to 20 hours is kind of like my sweet spot for games. After that, it's just they get a little long. I think I put a solid like week's worth of game in that one. Easily over 100 hours.
Ooh!
I love it. But I like those kinds of games. It's RPG, story, has a little bit of, I wouldn't say fantasy, but I guess a little bit. And I don't know. I was into it. Like, was this a strongest story ever? No, but that's okay. I had fun with the mechanics and the way the game played. So may not be for everybody, but hey, it was on Xbox Game Pass. I had been looking forward to it and it lived up to the expectation. So for me, I think it might be a contender for Game of the Year. I know what people can say no, because everyone's like all about Clair Obscur, which I didn't particularly care for, but I could see that also being on the list. But I think this is a very good game. I just think a lot of people needed to maybe give it a bit more of a chance. So Avowed, love, love, love. That's done. And I'm really sad about it. Hopefully they come out with some DLCs. The next one on my list, it's like a totally veered into I wouldn't say completely different direction, but Metaphor Refantasio. I don't know if you all remember, and this is the developer's Atlas, and it's published by Sega. Gosh, I feel like I haven't said Sega. I feel like I haven't said that in so long. But I haven't played a lot of JRPGs. I think I mentioned this in the last podcast. This would be that. This one, apparently, to finish it, it's long. Apparently, this can go anywhere between 60 to 100 hours. I will probably not finish this game, not because I dislike it, but because it's long. And I like it enough. The art's really nice in this game. The story seems really interesting, actually. The mechanics for the battle stuff, I can follow it, get behind it. I'm not a big fan of parrying, so I'm kind of glad I don't have to do that. But it's nice. I'm liking it so far. I'll probably put a solid 30 hours in, but I don't think I'll be able to play more than that. So Metaphor Refantasio, if you're into JRPGs, I definitely think it's worth trying. And I think it was like a contender for Game of the Year or something last year, if I'm not mistaken, because it just snuck in like at the end of the year. But yeah, strong. So I'm liking that better than Clair Obscur. Sorry. Next on my list is one that had been there for a while, South of Midnight. And this is developed by Compulsion Games, and it's published by Xbox.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this one.
Yes, and it's on Xbox Game Pass. It's good. Like, so good. I'm really enjoying the story. It has that kind of what do you call it? Where's like New Orleans and stuff. That's like, it has that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? that culture, like the people that live there,
Creole?
like Creole kind of, yeah, like that, like people like in, the Bayou kind of
Mm-hmm.
vibe. I'm sorry. I'm very, the word is not coming to me, but I think you understand.
It's okay. You're Canadian. Why would you know?
I know exactly what it is. And I can't think of the word I want to say, but that's the vibe. And I'm really into it. It's a really good story so far. And you can definitely tell it's pulling from those roots. The soundtrack is crazy good. And I'm not one for music in games. I usually just turn that off, but I'm loving it. So South of Midnight for me, it's strong. So far, so good. And I've probably about 10 hours in that. Yeah, excited to play more. And I don't think this is a long one. Actually, I don't think I'm 10 hours, but people like 7. And I think it plays in like 15 hours. So it's a short one, probably like more up my alley. And lastly, I picked this game up on Kickstarter and it just became available as of late. And I think it's part of this whole Cozy Fest, which Suzanne will talk a little bit more about later. And it's called Camper Van Make It Home. And it's developed by Malapata Studio and also published by Malapata Studios and Wings. And have you ever you've played Unpacking, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think, cute game. I love that.
It's like that kind of vibe. So you're in like a little motorhome. Yeah. And then you have like all these things that you have to put away, but it's a motorhome. So you're trying to find a place for like all this stuff. And I get so frustrated because I'm like, why are my underwear here? And then right next to it are like my dishes. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so it's basically unpacking, but in like a smaller environment, but you can customize the colors of your van and stuff like that. So this is a nice one I like to play before I go to bed. Super cute. I'm liking it. I think it's like $20. I think they're part of the sale, so it's like 10 or 20% off, but it's a good time. So that's what I've been playing thus far. It's kind of all over the place, but maybe something there resonates with you. But Suzanne, I think you also have a couple good ones on your list.
Yeah, it's been a little nuts lately, but to what you were just saying about the camper van game is Steam has had a bunch of, fests. So what that basically results in, there's some sales and new games have been announced and or released demos.
Yeah.
And so these are free. I mean, it's not Game Pass, but it's a really great way to try out a bunch of different games to see what you'll like and get to see what's new and hot.
Right.
So Cozy Fest and Next Fest, there was actually a bunch of fests, but the two I paid attention to were Next Fest and Cozy Fest. So some demos that I have downloaded and given at least some effort into and really enjoyed are Ball X Pit, which is a roguelike brick breaker game, right? So you shoot balls and they break bricks, but the bricks coming towards you are the enemy units. So you're powering yourself up and you're developing stronger attacks and all this other stuff. Really, really entertaining. I like that one, and I've put that on my wish list to buy when it's available.
Nice.
Cauldron is available now, but I just downloaded the demo. That is a super cute RPG, but it's fueled by a ton of different little mini games.
Oh, neat.
So, there's apples falling from the tree, and you have to move side by side and catch as many apples you can, which when you start is hard and you stink at it. But then, you earn points, and then you can make your basket bigger, and you can move faster, and all this other stuff. And there's all sorts of different little mini games that drive the RPG.
Right.
Really like that one as well. So that's Cauldron. Dawnfolk, Mandi, you've streamed this one, but it's a bit of exploration and tile laying and gathering resources and things like that. Again, really like this one. I think it appeals, whereas the other ones maybe not so much like a board game appeal.
Right.
Dawnfolk feels like a little board game adjacent. Similarly, Dicealot. It's a dungeon delve where you're attacking people, but you're crafting dice as you go. It's got a super retro vibe to it.
Nice.
I've been enjoying that one. Dicealot. Don't worry, folks. We'll put all these games in the show notes as well. And then the other demo I downloaded was Ratatan.
Ratatan.
I backed this on Kickstarter a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And to say I'm excited for this game, I cannot express how excited I am for this.
Let me look it up while you're talking about it.
Ratatan is the spiritual successor to a game called Patapon. Patapon is a rhythm fighting game where you get these little characters and it's a side scroller and you're fighting against enemies as you progress, and you have tech trees and you advance, but it's all rhythm. So you have a button that's like pata, and then you have a button that's pawn, and then one attack is patapon, or one attack is patapon, or or ding, or whatever. And here we have Ratatan from the same team as a spiritual successor, up leveled in graphics, up leveled in style. It's a little roguelike. Oh my gosh. Mandy, I just want to sink into it and ignore the world and goof off with it for hours. But
that's
anyway, so that's some of the demos. Games I've been playing though, video games. I mentioned it last episode, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Stole Time, this RPG that combines a little bit of Animal Crossing with like an RPG, and there's some fun cozy stuff, but then you get the fight. I freaking love this game. Plus, Mandy, I tried it with a friend with the multiplayer. Yeah. It's smooth.
Really? Nice. Yeah. I didn't even know there was multiplayer, actually.
Like you can visit each other's island, you can explore, you can do a dungeon delve together. Fun. Super fun. So that's what I've been spending my most time. But I also have Nine Kings. And Nine Kings feels like maybe a board game adjacent as well. It's a tower defense a little bit, where you're building out tiles and different things have adjacency. There's different factions that have specialties. Like there's a nature faction that has a lot of poison and spores and things like that. And there's a gold faction, there's a demon faction, all this other stuff. So Nine Kings, I've definitely put a couple of hours into at this point. I really like it. It's weird. It's oddly weird, but in a good way.
Right.
So Nine Kings, if you like that tile lane adjacency tower defense, that one's worth looking at too. Whew. All right.
Yeah, there are so many good ones. This is shortened by everybody. So much stuff.
Video game fans are eating good right now. And I did not get a Switch 2. So
I did not either. I'm waiting. Okay, well, I actually don't know if I'll get one. And if I do get one, it's got to be a cute themed one. Like Animal Crossing came out with one. I just don't know. I don't play my Switch that much these days.
Since the Steam Deck came out, I have to admit, unless it's like Mario Kart, Smash Brothers.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been playing mostly on my Steam Deck.
And then Xbox launched a handheld.
I saw that.
I was like, seriously, I've been waiting for this to come out forever. And of course they do it. I'm like, well, it's a little late now, isn't it? Because I bought a Steam Deck, which I love, and I'm not buying another handheld that I can literally emulate. Anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
But there you go. Definitely a lot of time on video games. And, we're omnigamers, and ultimately, I've heard, some people love it when we talk about video games. Some people are like, oh, I kind of skip that. I like you guys, but I skip that. And that's fine too. But I will suggest that by playing so many games, it makes us better at everything. And the way that you see just like games like Slay the Spire or Jetpack Joyride or Elder Scrolls or, these games that are now the crossover between video games and board games, Dorfromantic, is increasing. And I think by straddling that a little bit more and more, it just better equips us to be in tune with possibilities and what's happening. So, and we're doing a good job of getting our video games in, Mandy.
We're trying. I mean, my library or inventory, should I say, at this point is very big, so I gotta get on it.
Alrighty, so let's talk about a crowdfunding campaign, Mandy, that we wanted to highlight, and then we'll talk about a couple games you've been playing.
Sounds good. So I'm the only one with the crowd.
Well, I saw you have this on your list. I'm like, nope, that's a good one. We'll go with that.
Sure, and I know we've both backed previous years of this, and that is the Quest calendar. So this is specifically for 2026. They did say they were going to take a year off, so 2025 off, and come back with a new one, which they're doing. So the Quest calendar is done through the publisher Sundial Games. This campaign will end on Tuesday, June 24th. And for those who are not familiar with it, it is a solo RPG, but it's in the form of a calendar. And it's meant for you to play. You don't need a DM group, no prep, nothing. Your calendar, dice, and a pen or some kind of writing implement. And it takes maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes if it's a more complicated battle. But you have a character that you'll develop. Again, that doesn't take a long time, and it does walk you through some of the basics of the how the game works and how your character works. But then after that, the date for, your calendar, you read whatever it says, and if there's a battle, super quick, happens, you have your stats and you roll and that sort of thing, and that's it. And then you don't do the next one until the next day. Sometimes I've been so into it, I want to flip to the next day, but I'm like, it's a calendar. supposed to be kind of like a once a day thing.
Yeah.
I just saw this, but they said returning backer rewards. Totally missed that because I have backed all of them for the past few years. And if you're looking, I think they have the like an early, like if you get in early on it, and it's about 33 Canadian, 24 US dollars for just the calendar. It does come with dice. That's just something they put in there. I don't need the dice, but it's part of it. I didn't get the character book this year because I'm like, I think we'll just stick to just the calendar. But they do have other tiers where you can get character book, PDF version, some pens, erasable markers, things like that. And that would cost you probably closer to 49 US, 68 Canadian. So there are higher tiers. So that's the gist of the game. They have other things you can add to make it like more of like a game. But if you just want like a quick solo RPG fix in the morning, you can definitely check out the quest calendar. And I forgot to say that is on Kickstarter. And it ends again on Tuesday, June 24th.
I love it. And Mandy, the setting for this one looks like fantasy with a little bit of a darker edge to it. So I think it's perfect for you.
I love it. I'm so excited.
I'm really excited. And I just want to say randomly, I love that they took a year off.
Yeah.
I love that they took care of themselves and their company and took the time so that they could come back with another strong offering without, grinding themselves into the dirt. I think that's awesome. And I was really happy to see that. And I'm ecstatic to see them back.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for that, Mandy. We will move on into the games we've been playing before we serve up the games that give you a visceral reaction, good or bad. Game pie. Guess who named that one?
It's me. Okay, well, let's jump into some games played. Got a couple for you this week. Before I start, let me preface with the fact I was telling Suzanne before we started recording, I am on my 4th campaign of Elder Scrolls, the board game.
That's so awesome. I am jonesing to get this game now.
Yeah, people who I didn't think would enjoy it, I've been like, no, like I left my copy at a friend's house and him and his wife, he's like, Mandy, I showed it to my wife and my nephew and like my wife was like totally into it. And I didn't think that she would want to play that kind of game because it's usually not something she would enjoy. She's like, Mandy, no, like once I got past the rules and everything, I really liked it. So, I mean, games, bringing people together and trying new things. I'm here for it. So if you haven't tried Elder Scrolls, the board game, I'm just saying, this might be your opportunity to try a chip theory game. It's pretty strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Another game that I've been playing, and I made a mistake because I thought this game was a remake of a game that already existed, but it's not. Manhattan Project War Machine. I thought this was a remake of Energy Empire for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. Right. It's not. It's a completely different thing. So, and then there's another one in this series. I guess I'm just really behind. Manhattan Project War Machine is designed by Jan M. Gonzalez, and the art is by Heiko Gunther, and it's published by Grail Games. It's for 1 to 4 players, and it plays in 30 to 60 minutes. That should have been my indication that it was not the same game.
Sure,
it's not that short. Yeah. The background of this one is you're a country preparing for war, and as the leader, you are to grow and develop your nation to become the largest military power in the world. I don't know if I necessarily felt that theme when I was playing, but we'll get to that in a minute. Oh, I just realized I did not put the price.
Oh, price schmice.
Okay, Suzanne can look it up for me while I'm talking about it.
Oh, I can. Yes, absolutely. Happy to.
Just to give you all an idea.
$39.99, $40 US dollars.
US dollars. So probably for us, it's probably closer. In Canada, probably closer to about $45. So you're trying to, it definitely has a military power kind of vibe to it. And you earn victory points by, it says stockpiling your military goods and acquiring structure cards, action dice, and trying to achieve your tile. There's an achievement tile that you have and some other things. The end of the game will happen after the specified number of rounds, depending on how many players you're playing with. I think 4 players, it's 4 rounds, which is short. But yeah, that's it. And I think you get increasingly more rounds with fewer players. I think it's up to like 6 rounds if you play solo. What's going to happen in the game, you'll have a main board, and the main board's pretty, I don't say basic, but it does have a very straightforward design on what's there. And you kind of have 3 main areas where you're going to be able to place your workers or dice, or these like big chunky dice that you have. And each section has kind of a split of actions. So it's like, think of like almost two columns, and one has like a lighter side of the board, and then there's a darker side of the board. The ones that are on the darker side require a specific like worker that matches the icon for that space, because each of the spaces on the board have a different icon. So that means you have to use that die to go there, unless you're using a wild die. And we'll talk about that. And then you have another symbol that can be used for kind of lesser actions. People also get to take advantage of these actions, but we'll talk about that as well. So that's the main board. And then you have another board that tracks your rounds. And beside the board, you're going to have tiles. And these are going to be available for you to purchase at that particular space. And these tiles will be able to go on your player board that you can use or trigger at a certain part of your turn. Players have their own board. And then in addition to your own board, you have these other tiles that kind of are face down. And then there's one that's at the top that could also be upgraded. And when you upgrade that later, it'll be great for you to exchange dice with. It's just a 1-for-1 versus a 2-for-1 exchange. The other tiles are to extend your board. You have tracks for resources like money. We were calling them erasers because they look like the little nubby erasers, but it's food. Sorry, it's reminding me of those HB pencil erasers. But you have resources like steel, food, and money, and your tracks only go up to a certain point, and then you have to flip the tile at some point or upgrade the tile in order to keep going. Same thing for your points. Your points are also on a track. You need to flip a board in order to continue on that track. Otherwise, you just won't be able to acquire any more of those things. You also have a board for those tiles I was telling you about, and those will trigger a certain part in your turn, and we'll talk about that. Each player starts with all the things. Your board's all set up. Things are face down. You'll upgrade them later. And you start with these 4 chunky dice. I think it's 4. Is it 3 or 4? Now I'm thinking. Hold on. I'm doubting myself now. It might be 3. Hold on. Oh, it might be 3. Anyway, start with a few dice. Let's just go there. And you're going to roll these dice. And it's kind of like Yahtzee style. You roll them, and then if you're like, oh, I don't like that result, you keep one and then roll the rest. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you got to do that and then after a while, maybe you're still not getting what you want. Then you can take 2 of those dice, doesn't matter what 2, and then be like, this is what I want. And that turn it to that side, but then the other die is no longer in play. Then there's also a symbol that you could also roll that's like an atom, I guess, like a nuclear, I don't know what you would call it. You know, the rings, nuclear fission kind of thing.
Yeah, like nuclear warning or something like that.
Sure,
Radiation warning, something like that.
Yeah, like it has a whole bunch of rings on it. It's yellow. Anyway, that's a wild symbol. So you can use that as any type of worker on the board, but you also end up taking, I don't know if it's like radiation, but it's negative points. You get a tile with -1 when you roll those. So not so good. We got to find ways to, I was going to say recyclage, recycle those. So you can get points and turn them positive. So once you've rolled your dice, then you're going to go on the board and go, this I rolled a hat symbol. So then you look at the board and you're going to put your dice on the hat space. And within those that space, there are, I don't know, like 7 or something different types of actions you could take. So you would take one of those, put your die there, because you can't take it again. Even if you had 2 hats, you'd have to take a different hat action. But wherever you go, if you put that there, so that's on the darker side of the action board, all other players can look at the lighter side of the board and take one of those actions, which is usually a lesser kind of action. If you had a lightning bolt, which is one of the symbols that it allows you to take just the lesser action, so at a worker action, you also need to make sure a worker is present for you to take an action there. You can take that action, but then nobody else gets a follow action. So other players don't get it. So by using a worker, so one with an actual symbol that matches, allows other players to get something. Versus if you use the little lightning bolt, which is the lighter side of that action space, you get to take a lesser action, but nobody gets anything else. So there's a balance there with that. So you play out all your dice. Once you've done that, you take all your dice, bring them to your board, and if you had purchased any buildings of any sort, this is where they would trigger. And there are requirements for that. So on the tiles, it'll tell you if you need 2 dice specifically to be there, if you need 1 die, and depending on how many times you can trigger that. So they usually give you bonuses, or there's some kind of exchange or something like that. So it's a good way to get an engine going to build up getting resources or getting rid of those nasty, flipping those nasty tiles that are negative points, turning them into positive points, or just getting points, you know? So there are different ways to do that. You also have your own card that's like an extra action space that you can utilize. If you have those kind of nuclear die symbols, you can use a die on that space and it gets you some fun stuff. You also have a card with an objective that you're trying to achieve at the end of the game. That's a turn. That's a player's turn. And then it'll go to the next player and everybody does the same thing. Once everybody's done it, that's a round. You can get more dice by upgrading certain cards, and there's a space for you to do that, and you upgrade certain tiles on your board, and that will allow you to get more dice or workers. So that definitely is something you want to do early. And then the game ends after a certain amount of rounds, and then you see who has the most points. There are some end game tiles, and then obviously end game objectives, and then you will add those to your score. It is not a high scoring game. I think the highest score we had was like when we played overall was like 45. I had a lovely 29.
No judgment. No judgment.
Let's be clear. I don't think I even hit over 30, but it's just because, when you're just trying to like do things and figure it out. Yeah. Anyway, so overall, let's talk about it. Love the pieces. I was kind of feeling the retro art style of the game. My concern was that some of the colors were so... I just don't know if the contrast was enough for me. Like, there were parts of the board that were not utilized, for example, of the main board. So you would have a lot of empty spaces in between. When I say empty, there was color, but they were not used for anything. And so for me, I was just like, it really kind of took away a little bit from the actual action spaces, even though I know it was part of the aesthetic and I liked the art, but I just found that was like a bit of a waste there. Like maybe the tiles, instead of being outside the board, maybe they should have gone in that space. And do you know what I mean? Saving some room, that sort of thing.
Sure.
So I do feel the color palette was a little tricky. Again, like the style, I just don't know if it was the best use there. The rulebook is a problem. Yeah, this was, I think, the person. So I don't love reading rules, so I always have someone, shout out to Jeff, Thanks, Jeff, who's very good about, grabbing the rules. Yeah, I got it. And gets rules really quickly. And he was struggling. There were some things that weren't examples. So instead of being in the actual, part of the rule set, it was off to the side an example. Or there were a couple times some things weren't clear. Like we had to go to the BGG and clarify. And obviously it was a question that people would ask because there were tons of people asking about certain things. So for a game that was not that complicated, I feel like that would be a barrier right there for people not to play because the rulebook was a little frustrating, a little loosey-goosey on some things. And it's a fold-out rulebook. All
right. I love Grail, but yeah, I'm a fold-out rulebook.
I love you, Grail games, but the fold-out rulebooks get me every time.
Yeah.
And I think we were already frustrated with the rules, so that just like added insult to injury.
Sure.
So I just feel like these sorts of things could prevent people from like actually feeling a good experience with the game because you're getting frustrated at some challenging things in the rules. The game itself was good. It's not a heavy game. Like, I mean, if you're thinking Energy Empire, it's not that level. It's definitely less than that, but it might have been a nice way for someone to kind of introduce into, I guess, the theming. It doesn't play the same at all. But maybe if you just want to kind of get an idea of like, hey, this is a theme that we're going with and we want to kind of go deeper. I mean, I didn't really feel the vibe of the theme, but I get it. Things made sense, but I just overly thematic. It's fine. It could have been many things, but I get it. It's part of that world. So overall, I think our group was like, yeah, it's good. They'd play it. I just don't know if it's one that would be like one I'd have to keep in the collection. Like I would still kind of go back to the Energy Empire or something along those lines. But for someone who's maybe newer and not wanting as much complexity, they might prefer this type of game, even though it does have that engine building aspect, which can be a little tricky to get. So Manhattan Project War Machine overall is not a bad game. I just don't know if it's one that I would be able to, I don't know if the replayability is there for me to keep wanting to play the game, but it's not a bad game.
Yeah. First up for me is thematically very different. Floristry.
Ooh.
This is designed by David Gordon and Tam, and illustrations from Mari Tan, published by Up Games, retails for $25 US. And this is a 2-player auction and tile laying game for 2p. And Mandi, if you could see Mandi, she quirked her eyebrow and she went, "What?" I'm like, yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about it. I want to thank my friend Josh. So I've only, to be really transparent, I don't own this. My friend Josh brought it over, taught it to me. I've played it once. So, this is really first impressions as much as anything else. That said, it's a very straightforward game. How much nuance I'm missing, I don't know. Like, I suspect I've seen the bulk of what the game has to offer.
Got you.
All right, so 2-player tile lane auction game. How do you do that? So you're going to get the game. It's got a nice cloth bag full of little nice wooden painted domino tiles, essentially. And there's 6 different flowers in the game, and each domino has, there's 2 halves to it, and it has flowers, 1 flower on each half. And sometimes you'll get like a double rose. Sometimes you'll have a tulip in a rose on a tile, what have you, right? Mm-hmm. Those are going to get pulled out and lined up in a row, 4 per round. And then you do the auction to gain them. Ultimately, you're going to be taking these tiles and laying them in your personal tableau, and it's really simple. All you're trying to do is create groupings of flowers. The larger, the better, because, if you have a grouping of 3, you get 1 point. If you have a grouping of 5, you get 6 points, that kind of thing. It escalates so the bigger, the better. The way that you do that auction is via app. So there is an app that they built for the game, and you tap on it and it manages all of your funds and it manages the auction. And this is how they make a 2-player auction work, because the app serves as the auto timer. So you both click ready, and then the app will show you, $5. You both start with 30,
right.
$5. So if you pay for $5, you can click on your side. You just tap on your side when you're ready to be like, yep, I want them. If nobody taps for a couple of seconds, it ticks down to $4. And then it ticks down to $3. And then you're looking at each other like, I want that tile really badly. Do I want it for $3, or do I want to see if I can push my luck and get it for $2, right? That kind of thing. Ultimately, people are going to tap on the app, and then the person who pays for the tiles gets to pick which 3 of the 4 that are out there to add to their tableau.
Okay.
And the other person gets the remaining tile to put into their tableau. So everybody gets at least 1 tile every round. You place those in your grid, and then you pull out 4 new tiles, and you do it again until you've drained the tile bag. And then you score your groupings of each color flower. High score wins. Now, you've got a little cardboard frame, and that's your personal score track. It also serves as it defines the area that you're allowed to place tiles in, right? It's one of those things where ultimately you can't exceed whatever, like 10 by 10, and the frame allows you to do that, but it's flexible. You can move it around as long as your tiles fit within that frame. You're fine. My friend Josh has played the game a bunch, and he indicated that was never an issue. Like, the frame was like a nice way to keep you on track, but it's not a huge limiter. Like, it's pretty easy to find places to put your tiles of, wherever you need them to be. So a nice little thing, but it also serves as your score track. So at the end of the game, as you're counting your points, each of you gets a little custom, unique wooden kitty meeple. And then as you're scoring each color, you just move your little kitty around your frame to track your score. And isn't that adorable? And whoever has the most money at the end of the game also gets a point. So there you go. That's Floristry. It's really, really straightforward. I love that the app enables a 2-player auction, and it's effective. It works. It really, really works. Now, if you're anti-app, I guess this isn't the game for you. But I love how the app lets you have a 2-player auction game. I also love that it removes the need for money tokens or, fiddling around that, recounting, things like that. You just have it in the app.
Yeah.
Boom, done. It's very easy to use. I think that's great. Maybe by not having to put money tokens in the game or something, it frees them up to have these lovely painted wooden tiles for the dominoes. So those components are a really lovely, nice quality thing. I did note when I played it, I had no idea who designed it or anything like that. But then I was looking it up for the podcast. I realized Tam is one of the designers. Tam, I have met personally a few times now. Mandi, you have too. They were the designer of that kind of intense space game with the marbles that roll down for resources, like Tam and the Cap.
Yep.
So Tam is just a delightful person, a designer that's really growing in the industry. And I was like, oh, Tam designed this. How lovely. Tam along with David Gordon. So that was kind of a cool discovery. Hey, you know what? I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cute. It was nice quality. It was snappy, really simple to play, very easy to learn, very appealing game overall. So that's Floristry. If you like domino tile laying games, check it out. If you're intrigued by the idea of a lightweight 2-player auction game that really actually works, check it out. Floristry.
Very cool. I had not heard of it. Now, how the auction element, because you know how I love auction. I don't.
It's so low stress with the app. I think it's fine, but
Okay. Now, I'm just curious if someone's not a fan of auctions, like, would it be one that would be like, yeah, it's not.
I think you'd like this one.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Just asking. All right. Well, the last game that I'm going to talk about is, well, here we go. It's based off of a video game. I swear that's just how it happened. And that is The Binding of Isaac for Souls. Have you played any of those games, Suzanne?
I have not.
Okay. I feel like I have, but a long time ago, like not recently. And I remember them being really hard. Maybe I'm wrong. The Binding of Isaac for Souls is designed by Edmund McMillan. Art is by Crystal Fleming, and it's published by Maestro Media. It plays 2 to 4 players in about 30 to 60 minutes. And this one retails for about $47 Canadian. This game, let me preface it by saying it's not a nice game. And when I say that, I mean you are not nice to other players. I don't think I knew that, which I should have known playing the game a while ago, but it literally is described as a tabletop card game about sacrifice, betrayal, and hoarding. I mean, that says it all.
Okay.
So it's a card game. And the box that I'm going to talk about is the basic box. Like, it didn't have any of the extra rooms or anything like that. So just the basic one. And in the game, you're trying to loot, defeat monsters, take out other players in order to do those things, and collect. I think to win the game, you need to collect 4 souls. I think that's what it was. It's one of those games where everybody gets like a character card, and then it has a special ability, and then you also get an eternal weapon or something that you can use on your turn. I will start off by saying that this game definitely has magic. So if you've played Magic, as we were going through rules, I'm like, gosh, this sounds really like Magic a little bit here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Which was really weird. And also Munchkin. Take that however, yeah. And I didn't get it until we started playing. I'm like, yeah, I see that as well. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So on your turn, you will have your character, and you're going to have this eternal item, and they have abilities you can do. And everybody starts off with them. I have to be careful with my wording here. Exhausted. And then when you start your turn, they refresh. And that sounds familiar to some of you. Well, these are, steps. These are some of the things you do in Magic, right? So
certainly not tapped and untapped. Yeah, got it.
Whatever do you mean?
Exhausted, heard.
Oh, gosh. That happens on your turn. And then there's a little setup where you have 2 monsters. There are 2 face-up loot cards. And then there are some there's 2 face-up treasure cards. And then there are decks of loot cards that are face down. I do believe you start the game with a few loot cards already. And there are things like, getting some money or potentially giving you like an additional buff or something like this. And then there are the monsters that you can attack. So you can decide to attack monsters. You can you're going to draw a loot card. And then you're also allowed to play one. A couple of the characters have options where you'll be able to play more than 1 loot card, but generally you're allowed to play 1. Then you can go after the monsters, and they have a certain number that you have to roll a die, and you need to beat that number. Otherwise, they hit you for some damage. And your damage, like, you don't have a lot of health. I think it's like 1 or 2. Like, it's not great. Depending on your character. So you could die fairly quickly unless you have things to keep yourself from dying or whatever else. Or sometimes players can make things more challenging for you, or other monsters that are out can make things challenging for other monsters, like increasing their health. If this monster's out, the health, this monster over here, it's going to be harder to take out. And obviously once you take them out, if it has a soul on it, because remember the goal is to get souls in the game, you keep that card, and sometimes there are bonuses for most of the time, there are bonuses as well, like getting treasure, more loot, or just getting the soul card you need in order to end the game. They had a really weird thing in the game, which I didn't even like. I played it a few times and I just didn't get it. The name is even escaping me, where something like passes to the next player. It's almost like an interrupt. It's very strange. I honestly still don't even fully understand it. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Somebody who was running the game was just like, yeah, this is the thing that happens. It's almost like that player's like the active player now. if that makes sense. And they have a really interesting element of like cards that are played. There's like a stack that you put the cards in, and depending on how it is, like cards can affect the stack, which can then affect other players. And when it gets resolved, it's a whole thing. The game itself doesn't take very long, but to get those souls, this is where the munchkin part comes in. You could literally have somebody who's teetering on the 4th soul. But, you know, it's like Munchkin when you get to that last, like that number 9 spot and you're trying to get to 10 to finish the game. It's kind of like that. Someone could do something to, to make you not get that soul. Like, oh, you had it. Oh, you don't have it anymore. Or make it 10 times harder for you to get. Oh, you're almost there. No, you can't quite get it. Like that dynamic does happen. And it did take a while, a couple times for us. So the game will end once you get your 4 souls. But there are ways that other players can attack you or make things more challenging for you on the way. It's not a hard game. I will be honest with you. This is not a game that I personally enjoyed. I don't tend to like games that are a lot of like direct conflict. And let's be clear, this isn't like super in your face mean, but I don't like that kind of element where it's like, let's just finish the game. Like if you worked hard, you did the thing, get there, let's go. I don't want to have to like sit here and draw it out. Okay. At this point, I don't even want to finish it. You know what I mean? And when you die in the game, I do like that you're not out. You lose a little bit of money and you come back to life. You lose a money and an item or something, and then you come back to life. So I do appreciate that. But you can die very easily in this game. And I think there were many times where I was like, oh, I need those 10 coins to buy. I can buy a treasure. And I would just die. And I was always at like 8 coins or 9 coins. I was always short. Because I was dying. I mean, I could be, I know as they say in the gaming, what, get good? Sure. But it was getting a little frustrating. And then the person who did have souls, it was just like, okay, seriously? Like, okay, this person obviously is going to win. Why are we dragging this out longer than we need to?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that was always my problem with Munchkin. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just end it already. Sorry, that was a little aggressive. So that's kind of how I felt about this. It was just going on and I'm like, okay, like I'm over it. Let's just, it's we don't need to play this out. And that's not good. I think people who are comfortable, maybe enjoy the franchise of the game and who are familiar with the video game, they might have more of a tie to it. I think people who like a little bit of that combat or who are fans of like Munchkin, you may like that. I do find the rule set assumes that you know things. Like, for example, some of the elements use magic kind of things, magic elements to the game. And they kind of make that assumption that you know how to play magic or are familiar with that rule set. Just the way the rule book is written, I'm like, yeah, but you have to explain that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone who's never played this is not going to understand this. You have to give it, like the rule book is the size of like not even the palm of my hand. Like it's so small. So I'm like, it's not really giving you much detail. So that I feel it makes an assumption that people need to know about magic or Munchkin or these sorts of things to play it. And that's not good because the people who are going to want to play this are probably the people who don't necessarily have that knowledge. So the Binding of Isaac 4 Souls, I definitely think there's a group of people or a subset of people that will really enjoy this game. It is can be short. I say can be because it really just depends. But they could do a little bit better work with the explanation of the rules, especially for newer players to these types of games. And again, not a fan of just that kind of like drag out to get to the end. So, and again, I am not a huge fan of like attacky games, but if you like that, this might be the game for you. So Binding of Isaac 4 Souls, not for me, but I definitely think there's an audience for it.
Interesting. Fascinating. Yeah, the video games just thematically didn't appeal to me at all. And Lord knows I have enough games to play, so I appreciate all those insights.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap up with it's a review. It's a review. But this one's tough because I don't want to spoil too much. So, Clank Legacy 2. Acquisitions Incorporated. Darkest Magic. Dun, dun, dun. Nice. This is designed by J.E. Treat, published by Direwolf, and it retails for $115 US. Oh my gosh, $115.
I just looked it up in Canadian dollars. It's a lot.
Yeah, what is it in Canada?
165.
All right, 165. So we'll talk about that a little bit. That is a daunting number, and I understand that. I do want to keep this basically spoiler-free. I'm going to talk about a few things that basically get revealed either as you as you open the box, right? And as you unbox it for the first time, there are things you're just going to know, but I'm not going to like spoil any big secrets. That said, if you want to fast forward through this because you don't want to know anything about it, totally fair.
Right.
We'll see you after this segment. All right, Clank Legacy 2, Ack Inc. Incorporated Darkest Magic. This is obviously the sequel to Clank Legacy 1. I have said many, many times that Clank Legacy 1 is one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had in board games. It was a blast. So how do you follow that up? Well, apparently you followed up by making everything more and extra and mostly for good.
Okay.
Things that are the same. So in Clank Legacy 2, you have a great storyline. And this is one of the things that made Legacy 1 so good is that they've put this Acquisitions Incorporated IP in the game, which is, of course, the Penny Arcade comic, fantasy setting comic. And I know nothing about Acquisitions Incorporated, never read it, know nothing about it beyond what I've learned playing Clank Legacy 1. Yeah. Does not matter. I enjoyed it thoroughly regardless. Same thing goes with Clank Legacy 1. So if you don't know Ack Inc., doesn't matter. But it gives them a setting. It gives them a narrative. It gives them characters to work with. And the settings, humor is a huge thing. Unfortunately, puns are also a huge thing. But, you know, sometimes you put up with things to have the full experience. It is what it is. So, like, it's a very humorous setting. You know, your adventure is going out. Of course, this Acquisitions Incorporated is an adventuring company, so there's this funny kind of corporate overtones to the gameplay that you're trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. The game includes 12 games. You're going to know this up front. You play through 12 games. That's what you get out of it. You get to pick a character. Your character is going to come up with a personal starter deck, a personal book that has a ton of story elements as your character evolves. And depending on what happens during the games that you play, that can change things. And on the back of the book, this is new. There's a personal kind of advancement track or evolution track. And as you earn certain achievements, you're going to progress through that and get different story elements based on that. And that is super duper fun, in my opinion. Like Clank Legacy 1, you're going to get a ton of stickers. You're going to be stickering everything. You're going to be because again, as a legacy game, this is permanent changes to the game as you play through the different games, right? So you're going to be stickering things. You're going to get new tokens. You're going to be adding a ton of new cards. Awesome. The board is double-sided. There's a different location on each side that you get to explore. And the game sheet kind of tells you each round which one you're going to set up and how to set it up. And that's very cool. And obviously, no, this is not a spoiler, but in Legacy, your board evolves as well. So that was always a delight. A little stressful, not unique to this game, but you're going to be stickering big things on the board. And sometimes you're, depending on how perfectionist you are, adding those stickers to the board can be a little stressful. But, you know, it's not a big deal. If you're not as picky, then it's not a big deal. They added a new element called marks. Everybody has marks. I'm just going to leave it at that, but I really liked what that brought to the game.
Nice.
There is one new component and element that we didn't like. Specifically, the implementation was fiddly and awkward, and what you were supposed to do with it was not 100% clear to us in the rules. I know that's not very helpful. If you want to know what that is, you're welcome to message me privately. I'm happy to tell you all that detail privately. It was just a thing, and we're like, oh, how does this work? And I don't think we did it right. And then ultimately, when it really kicked in, we did not do the thing. We did not use the component the way it was supposed to be used because we just found it too fiddly.
Right.
And, you know, nothing's perfect. It is what it is. A new element that they added to this game that they didn't have in the first one, scratch off. So cards have scratch off elements on it.
Nice.
And you get into a rhythm of when you're able to scratch off different things. That is super fun. Who doesn't love scratching off things? And so that was a blast to kind of discover that. There's also a board, not the main game board, but there's a sideboard that has scratch off things. Heads up. Apparently, this is a known issue in production. The scratch off that was applied to the sideboard, it just didn't, at least in the printing we had, it didn't go on right. So you can't really scratch it off effectively, and you'll ruin the board. Like you scratch so hard, you scratch through the text that's being hidden. Yeah. That's unfortunate. They have an app that mimics the board so that you can do the progression instead of on the physical component. And we still use the physical component to track the things we needed, but then we would check what it does in the app instead of scratching it off. So that's another bit of a component bummer. Scratch off, I think, comes with some risks, but I think the payoff was worth it in how it was incorporated into the rest of the game. There's a ton of stuff. You are going to be, destroying cards, ripping up cards. We reveled in that. No, I know other people don't. Some people tuck them away. No problem. You can do that as well. Yeah, so that's the gist, right? A couple other comments on it. The first thing that took us by surprise, the games are longer. From the get-go, the games take longer to play than Clank Legacy 1. So we played through Clank Legacy 1. We thought it would be similar. We'll crank out, we'll do a couple of weekends dedicated to it. And no, our first game, when we thought it would take an hour, it took 2 hours.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's just there's so much going on in this game. Keep that in mind if you're playing, that it's a little more intense out of the gate than Clank Legacy 1. And accordingly, between games, it feels like there's more administrative work to prep for the next game, to make all the changes that you need to make before you move on to the next game. It took a little bit of time, and you are juggling. They give you these big envelopes of components, and you're passing them around, and you're looking for, find H1, find B2 on sheet M1, apply this here, do. It took a little bit of time. So, divide the roles. You do this stuff, I do this stuff, and it helps make it go a little quicker. But that was another thing that I just wanted to call out, that to help set expectations in terms of how you're planning your time, if nothing else, because I think it took us about 2 to 3 hours per game.
Okay, that's definitely longer. Yeah.
We had one game that was much faster. We'll just leave it at that. Clank Legacy 2... nailed it. Hit it out of the park. Loved it. Loved it. After we knew how long games would take, we planned our time a little bit better. What a delight. I mean, we played this game for probably between 25 and 32 hours. I can't remember exactly, but somewhere in there.
Wow.
We played a 3-player game. $115 US, $165 Canadian. 30 hours of entertainment for for friends to sit around the table and have a ton of laughs and have a ton of fun. Worth every penny. I mean, it was just delightful. So if you don't like narrative, if you don't really care about narrative, this is a narrative-heavy game. The story is part of the enjoyment. So, maybe you want something more like a My City or My Island if you aren't really into that. But if you liked Clank Legacy 1, I can't see how you don't love Clank Legacy 2. If you haven't played either, I would probably still suggest you start with Clank Legacy 1.
Yeah.
You can jump in with Clank Legacy 2, but I think you're going to be missing out on a lot of stuff, and I think it's an easier entry anyway. So that would be my recommendation. If you haven't played Clank Legacy 1, start there. But if you have and you haven't, you're like, is it different enough or whatever, I highly recommend it. I want to play it again. I want to do it all over again. We didn't play with one of the characters. I want to see what that character does. We had like a fistful of cards in the lockbox that we never got to try. I want to know what we missed out on. It was great, Mandy.
Yeah. The first one was so good. Like, it was so good. And my group, I usually, I'm lucky enough to potentially get a copy from the company so I can review it. And it just hasn't happened this year. Things have been going on, busy. My friends couldn't wait. So they're like, yeah. So we just went out and decided we're going to buy a copy because they have another group they want to play it. And then they're like, but when you have to play it to review it, we want to play with you too. Like, that's how good it is. So
Yeah, I think there's ways to do that fairly. Like, if they're being fair, they should tell you up front a couple of key things that they'll know that matter that you wouldn't know. But beyond that, I think absolutely, I would play it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, so good stuff.
Woo, all right, enough of that. Holy cow, I went on and on. I didn't mean to talk about that long, but I was just reminiscing and it was so great. So let's get to dessert. I'm hungry for dessert. Let's serve up that game pie.
Love it.
It's that time, folks. It's time for your board game dessert. It's time for game pie. Game Pie, of course, is when Mandy and I serve up a selection of games based on our excellent taste and our whims, because we're so whimsical and we don't like ranking things, but we love tasty, tasty goods. So what's better than a pie? And we put whatever we want in it. There you go. And the pie of the day today is games that give you a visceral reaction, good or bad. Mandy, clearly... Tell me what is this pie we're serving up?
Okay, Elle, I was in a mood, okay? And I was just like, oh, that's a good idea for a game pie. You know, there are just some games where you're just like, that game was so good. I just can't stop thinking about it. And then others, that game was not my favorite. I'm so mad or sad or whatever because it did XYZ and you can't stop talking about it. Either way, you're giving it some attention more than you would your average game. So I thought this would be fun. So I'm going to start with one that I've talked about a couple times before.
Oh, yeah. I'm like not surprised to see this here.
I am traumatized with this game. And the fact that Suzanne loves this game is shocking to me. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It just did things to me. And that is automobiles. Oh my gosh. This game, it's one of those games where it's like, I think it depends on the player count, but I can't stop talking about it to this day because I could literally see where I would never be able to win. Like, it was like, oh, I see that I'm not going to win this game and I have to sit here and stick it out for another 2 or 3 rounds. Thank you for that. To make me feel bad about myself. Now, a lot of people love it. It just makes me, it like brings back some memories that I don't know if I could ever play this game again, and that's automobiles.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that. I do love this game, and, you know, different strokes, different folks. But
sure.
Yeah, I won't even show it to you. I'm scared to say the word automobiles in front of you, Mandy. All right, first up for me is a game called Pistali. Pistali is a tile laying game with these beautiful graphic design where you have bright, colorful lines weaving through these gem-shaped tiles, or a great little oblong hexagon shape. And you're placing these tiles, trying to connect ends and get long paths of them as you follow your colored tracks through. One twist is you can overlay tiles over other tiles to make new connections or break existing connections and that kind of thing. It is a gorgeous game. It is pretty simple to teach and learn. And it breaks my brain and it infuriates me. It's such a delightful, and that's not a knock on the game. That's a knock on my sad brain because I love Pistali. It's such a clever game in so many ways, but I do get stressed out when it comes to the table. Like, I feel stress building up as soon as I'm like, oh, Leia, you guys want to try this? It's so pretty. Let's try Pistali. I'm like, okay, great. Let's do this. Do we have Advil? I better take one in anticipation. Because it burns my brain. It breaks it so badly. The way the paths work, the way the overlay works, things like that. I can really only play it at a super casual level because otherwise you could, it's a lot. But it is a gorgeous game. I do like it. And that is Pistali.
Yeah, I could see that. I haven't played that one for a long time. I could see that fight for sure. The next game on my list of games that give you a visceral reaction, I mean, I guess I could say strong reaction, but no, I like visceral much better for this, is Fromage. And this is a good one. This is a good one. It's one of those games where I was like, okay, it's gonna be another one of these. I can't stop playing this game. I'm like, it's so good. It's so simple. It's so straightforward, but it's not simple. And you have limited actions and you're trying to do all the things. And oh my gosh, the game's over. I think I've played this game so many times, like since I've had it. I've taught it to people. I'm like, no, I don't even need to play. I'll just like hang out. And I'm just like, it's so good. You have to try it. That is literally how I sound, by the way, when I'm trying to encourage people to try it. So that is Fromage, and I'm really liking the little lazy Susan thing going on. So
I really love Fromage too. I don't know if I feel as strongly about it as you do, but it's a great game.
I like it.
Next slice up for me is Metro X. Metro X is a roll and write style game, which of course I love, but this is card driven. You flip over cards. And the reason why I picked this is I've played Metro X. I mean, it's 8 years old now. I don't know how many, it's not a brand new game. I've played it dozens upon dozens of times with dozens upon dozens of people, because I've used to bring it to conventions with me all the time, and it plays basically any number of players you have. It's such a brilliant game that even now, years later, dozens, hundreds of plays later, every time I'm playing it, there is a moment or many during the game where I'm like, this game is so brilliant. Oh my gosh, how is this game so good? It's that good. It's like, it's so dead simple. Flip over a card, write in a number. Like, like that's all it is. Connect these paths. It's a genius game. I own everything I can possibly own for it. All the different maps and things like that. It's dang good. I mean, any game that makes you feel that way years or even, dozens of plays later, gives you the shivers all then. Yeah, it's that good. So Metro X.
There you go. Another one that you feel in your guts. It's so good. And I agree. I have a lot of that too. Then third game on my list is Ostia. Just cut right to it. And Ostia is one like I love this game. It's so it is so good. And just the vibe, the feeling I get, when you're just confident I'm teaching it. I'm like, yeah, I know the rules. I'm like, oh, you want to play a game? Let me show you Ostia. Hey-yo. And just makes me feel so good to teach it, to talk about it. And I think at this point, I know 3 or 4 people are like, Mandi, I'm literally on a waiting list because it's sold out everywhere. I loved it. So I am passing this joy on to others. So Ostia for me, very strong.
You help pass it on to me because I passed on the Kickstarter because it's a little expensive.
Yes,
and then you were talking it up. I'm like, fine. And then I feel I teach it every chance I can get.
Right.
And it's wonderful to see other people light up as they play it and realize how great of a game it is.
Absolutely.
Taking a swing in the other direction. I mean, as you all know, I love roll and write games, and I get every single one that I can manage to get my hands on. And most of the time, that is nice, good, or great, like with Metro X. Sometimes it's inevitable you get a stinker. Kingsburg, the dice game. I haven't wanted to set a game on fire that much in a lot. Like, it's inoffensive. Like, the only other games I feel this way are ones that are, like, offensive, right?
Yeah.
But, like, Kingsburg, there's nothing... Like, it's just Kingsburg, the dice game.
Sure.
It's a roll and write version. I wanted to like it. Oh, my gosh, it's a terrible game. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I try to be measured or whatever. I don't know what they were thinking. I think the BGG rating reflects that. It feels underdeveloped. It feels pointless. It's not fun. It's not interesting. Kingsburg deserves a better dice game. Roll and write, people deserve to get some value out of the money they spend on a game than something that they infuriates them on every level that you could have with such a simple board game, from the rules to the play to the questions to the boredom. I don't like Kingsburg the dice game, and it makes me angry.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this one, and I've heard others mention it, and the fact that you're saying that, because we try to, keep it at a certain level. And I mean, if it's that point, yeah, it must be.
I'm sorry.
Pretty rough. So,
no.
Well, the last pie on my list is Galaxy Trucker. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm laughing at, yeah. Oh my God. I cannot imagine a game less for you.
I can't. I tried and I was like, I can't do this. Like it's not even like I hate the game. It just causes me to be so stressed and so worked up and so anxious. I just have no, I strongly dislike this game. I'm sorry. I don't know who I'm trying to fool here. And again, I know there are people who love it, and good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. For me, I love that for you. I don't love it for me. I can't. I'm sorry. Like, just talking about it now is actually like making me sweat. And again, it's a game, right? But no one should ever feel this way when playing a game. It's too much, okay? So timed elements, it's not for me. So Galaxy Trucker is just one that just gives me a reaction. It's like instant cold sweats. I can't do it.
Fair. And I understand that because it does have real-time tile grabbing, ship building, and then you go through this gauntlet, and then what you worked so hard to build gets destroyed.
Right.
And that's a lot of feel bads for certain types of players. For the record, I love Galaxy Trucker.
I know you do.
So there you go. There's always, there's a game for everybody.
Absolutely.
There's somebody for every game except Kingsburg the dice game. So anyway, the last slice of visceral reaction pie. We'll end on a high note here.
Yes.
Tokyo Highway.
Oh, nice.
Tokyo Highway is a pathing game, a dexterity and pathing game. It's really a pathing game, but it has a high dexterity element that turns a lot of people off from itten games out of Japan. But if you see this game on any table a few turns in, you have to stop and look. It is so visually stunning and interesting as you're building, roads with these essentially gray popsicle sticks. You've got little colorful cars, and you're stacking up, you're building ramps, you're weaving in and out, and you're trying to get all these perfect, clever overlaps and placements. And you have these moments where sometimes you accidentally knock things over, things like that. It is a stunning game for a lot of reasons. It's visually stunning. The pathing is actually quite interesting and fun. There is that stress of the dexterity. There are these moments where you do knock things and you have this, and everybody kind of has that, either moans and groans or moments of joy because, you knocked something over and they wanted you to. And it's unique. There's just not a lot of other games like that out there. And I love what they're doing. And it feels like an experience as much as it is a game. And that makes me so happy that this game exists. I love playing it. I love looking at it. I love watching other people play it. And I love that it brought something like this to life in our hobby. So Tokyo Highway.
Yes, I don't own this one. I have played it and I definitely see the appeal for sure.
I don't know if it's your game, but yeah, it's
I get it though. I get it.
Yeah. Alrighty, so that was Mandi. What game pie was that?
Games that give you a visceral reaction, good or bad. You feel it in your bones, in your guts, those feelings.
In your guts. Games you feel in your guts. Oh, that we should, yeah. So thank you for that, Mandi. Of course, we want to know what games make you feel them in the gut. What are your gut games? You can let us know. You can always drop your thoughts. I love people are doing this a little more and more, it feels like, in our Board Game Geek threads. That's Guild 4131 on BoardGameGeek.com, and we'll create an episode post. Feel free to chime in there with games that make you feel great or make you feel bad. Share and let me know. I love seeing those. Or if you want to do it privately, you're always welcome to email us at saltandsassgames@gmail.com.
Yes, you can.
Or they can let us know on social. Sorry.
That's okay. I was waiting. I'm waiting for my prompt. Yes, you can find us on the socials. You might be watching us here right now on the YouTube, but we also do a lot of our live streaming on the Twitch. And you can find us there at Salt and Sass Games. So Salt and Sass Games. You can find us also on Blue Sky. And we got a little professional there. So at Salt and Sass. You can find us at Blue Sky at Salt and Sass. You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram. I think that's about it, really, at 613 Mandi. That's Mandi with an I. How about you, Suzanne?
And you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm at 425 Suzanne. As always, it has been a pleasure and privilege to be podcasting with you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again to everybody, all of you wonderful souls out there messaging me about Stick for Stick. You're the best. That is why I am so happy that you are part of my extended gaming family. I'm so grateful for you. You're the best. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a brand new episode with more games. Mandi, we're gearing up. Origins is coming up. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend this year, and I know you are as well.
Correct.
But I've got my team there from my day job there, and I'll get those reports back. We'll look at Origins anticipation maybe, and then Gen Con comes. Oh my gosh, we're headed into the convention season, folks.
Definitely that.
So we'll be talking more and more about that. But until then, just take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay hydrated and play a lot of games. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Promotional consideration has been provided by game publishers in the form of review copies of games. If you'd like to support the podcast, please check us out on coffee.com/saltandsassgames. Thank you for your support. We are also part of the Goonhammer Media Network. Check out more of their content on media.goonhammer.com. Salt and Sass is produced with love by Mandi and Suzanne, and we'll be back next episode with more salt, more sass, and more games.
3, 2, 1. Clippy, clippy, clap, clap.
Hey, I need it too.
I'm just all of a sudden I hit a mood.
Yeah, that's good.
Mandy, you livened me up. That's the thing. All of a sudden I'm in a mood because I've been spending time with you.
I'll take it.